Okay. Michael, you've been talking about Tony Jannus. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about why this was significant to the St. Petersburg area or the Tampa Bay area back in the day?
Well, not only was it significant back in the day, but it's significant today still. I mean, the Tony Jannus Society, Historical Aviation, the Tony Jannus Distinguished Historical Aviation Society is still an active member of this community. And when you look at aviation as a whole, and you think about the impact of daily life here, it's important because we're the birthplace. I mean, whether you're talking about Southwest Airlines or Continental or any of the major carriers that fly around the world, we were the first ones. And there's not a lot of firsts left, and that's something that St. Petersburg can be proud of, and Tampa can be proud of, because we are the birthplace for what really makes up 5% of our entire economy.
Would you say that Tony Jannus, certainly not a forgotten person, but is he someone who has maybe slipped by the wayside a little bit in terms of his significance?
Sure. Well, I mean, the Wright brothers achieved flight first, and that was the pinnacle of success then. And I do think it was underrated. I think, though, if you think about how big commercial aviation is in the world, and where Tony Jannus fits into that as far as being the first piece of that, I think he is kind of forgotten in a lot of ways. But, you know, he was important enough that John F. Kennedy mentioned him in his speech when he came out here. You know,
Really?
I mean, that's pretty big. And the winners and the receivers of those awards are people who head airlines. They're senators. They're military service commanders. So it has been lost. It has been washed out in history, and that is the reason why we kind of brought this documentary about, was because people needed to be reminded of, you know, of what he did for the industry, commercial aviation, and more importantly, where he did it at, which was here. He had to find a place that was receptive to this idea, that was that needed the service, and more importantly, was a safe place to fly. So it's important.